A boy named Yuki lost in thoughts. When his childhood friend comes, she start touching his hair saying you look gloomy in it. As they talk further, things gets dark in classroom, and a mystical circle opens up. They all are deported to this strange barren place. They are all confused and wonder where they are. Yuki smiles, saying he knows this place. Hearing something, they all looked at these big robots and wondered if it was a movie shoot. As these giants came close, they all start running. Giants attack Yuki, but Yuhi tries to protect him. But with his power he took down the monster in seconds. Yuhi is shocked, but Yuki holds her hand and keeps running. She looks confused. They see soldiers coming to destroy demons. It's a full-fledged war and they use a magic squad to gain a bit of advantage. Everyone is running and students wonders what's going on. Yuki seems lost in thoughts. When a woman in horse appears, she asks what these people are doing here and asks them to leave. A soldier comes on a royal knight and instructs other soldiers to follow him. They start the attack along with this woman on horse. She with her sword start killing these giants one by one. In next scene, the king thank everyone for uniting at this time, saying same event has happened 5 years ago, when they were attacked. Queen addresses that 5 years ago a foreign leader helped them end the war, and brought peace to this kingdom. The queen asks them for help, to which they start discussing that they don't even know how to fight, but staying inside the castle is the only option they have. Queen thanks everyone for their determination and asks them to rest. As they walk away, Yuki console Yuhi not to worry, and assure her no danger will touch her, and she smiles and walks off inside a ship. Foreign soldiers seem to be training with swords, and a woman is teaching magic to others. As she starts teaching, everyone tries hard, but Yuhi gets it in one go. Yuki sees her and thinks she is talented. Inside a corridor, Yuki casually walking is caught by a woman, and Yuki takes her name, Elka. Elka asks him to go back and train for war and be cautious, but his casual behavior reminds her of a hero from 5 years back. She tells him not to force her to use strength. Yuki smiles and challenges her. She prepare her sword and run towards him. They both collide and Yuki hits her. She gets shy, and he asks if she remembers him. Elka instantly becomes submissive, knowing he is the hero from 5 years back, Setsu. She leans down and apologizes. She asks him if he has lost weight, as his appearance is different than last time. Soon Yuki meets his previous comrade Glein, and Elka introduces him, saying, "This is Setsuma." The door opens. Glein and Elka run to give this news to their other comrade Thea, who already knows he is Setsu. Thea says even with different appearance she would never make any mistake recognizing him. Yuki says he is back home as promised. They all welcomes him back. Yuki deeply ponders on something. Thea knew he is thinking about demons and war. They all have a lot of questions for Yuki, and Elka asks how he returned to this world again. They all are confused about his appearance and why he left after the battle last time, to which Yuki replies he has no idea. Yuki remembers last time running around the corridor, fighting and splashing swords when he fought Toma, his enemy. Yuki says he only know that he was reborn into other world with magic powers and then got summoned here again. Elka says this doesn't seems like a coincidence, and Yuki asks about Toma. Could he be after this war? Yuki imagines those demons and says Toma is the only one who could do it. Elka reply they couldn't find him after the last battle, but it's likely if Setsuma is alive Toma must be too. A soldier comes running, saying King has ordered to collect in throne room immediately. Glein leaves and Elka asks it should have been your job, onto which Yuki replies he wouldn't accept such job. They see their beautiful kingdom and thinks peace has to be restored. A shadow appears and Yuki thinks about Toma. In the next scene we see King appealing all-out war on demons. A soldier asks the king to be patient in this situation. Queen replies, "Demons have invaded us and heroes are back. We will definitely win." Everyone claps and King thinks, peace treaty 5 years back was useless and they shouldn't have listened to that hero. Yuhi practices for the coming war as she succeeds in her target. Yuki congratulates her. She smiles and asks, "This practice is to hurt someone in war, isn't it?" And asks, "Why are we going to war?" He touches his hair nervously. She assures him with her magic she will protect him, and he smiles with that. This day ends. The Solitaire visit their hero Setsu, apologizing as they needed to buy some time from King so he could prepare for war, but they couldn't. Yuki decided to fight alone in the battle, especially knowing Toma is after all this. Other comrades looks concerned. Elka asks him she will be his personal guard, and Glein gets excited to fight the war alongside his hero, and so is Thea. Yuki decides this time he will go all alone to stop the war. Some force needs to be there in the castle to protect it. They accept it, and Yuki decide to enter the war alone. Inside the castle, they enter in invisible form to check on the enemy, but as usual Elka rushes first, making Yuki feel it is the same old days. Elka hits a Solitaire being impatient, and Glein asks her to be quiet, and they cover that solitaire in a box. Suddenly, Yuhi feels Yuki's presence, but she kept moving. Yuki and others get to this room's in invisible form to find his sword Kurumaru. Guard finds out and they all rushes out from there. Glein assures he will buy them some time from King to prepare more for war. As Yuki leaves for war, Elka assures him she will buy some time till he returns. And Yuhi comes panting and runs straight to him. Yuki explains her that he has been summoned second time and he needs to stop the war. Yuhi seems all shocked. Yuhi cries and asks him to take her along with him, and promise she will be useful, but he denies, as this would be dangerous for her. She resists, but Yuki explains he doesn't want to put her in danger, and she resentfully accepts. Yuhi hugs him and asks him to close his eyes. Yuhi hold him and perform some magic and promise him she will be more strong. Yuki hit her lovingly with his finger, and ask her if she can dodge this she will pass the test. And then he leaves. He leaves from there passing through beautiful street and castle. An old man angrily refused to sell his craft, saying its value can't be understood by everyone. This man asks the price of a brooch, and the old man replies that it's not about money. His granddaughter comes and asks what's the matter, and he replies that he is interfering with his business. He puts lot of gold in front of him. Old man accepts it happily. As he leaves, girl asks isn't pride important than anything for a craftsman. That's right, he says. Ruri, pride and attention to detail are most important qualities for craftsmen. He pampers her and says but there are some exceptions, showing a gold coin. In the next scene, we see Ruri holding her grandpa's picture at his funeral. As everyone leaves, she is left all alone at home. She knew she loved him, and she had to complete his last task. Thinking this, she heads on a carriage. As she moves ahead in the middle of the night, she hears scary voices of animals. Suddenly her carriage gets stuck in the mud, and she pleads with the horse not to stop. She gets all scared and hears the scary voices even more, when suddenly a monster attacks her, and she falls down badly. She tries to crawl to see if the brooch is fine and picks it up, thinking her grandpa would have haunted her if anything happened to it. As she turns back, the monster stares at her, and she screams in fear, "I taste horrible," and plead him to let her go. Ruri holds her bag tightly, trying to hide, when she hears a voice and sees the monster is dead. A man has killed it. It is Yuki. She asks him if he needs money she can give him, but only after delivering this package, as she doesn't have cash right now. Yuki denies and says he was just passing by and wants her to be safe. She counters that there is no such thing as free. Her grandpa taught her. He mocks her grandpa, saying he sounds trash, and he says you should at least have a guard when you are carrying goods. She says she left in a rush and couldn't find anyone to guard her. After a moment of thought, she asks if he can be her guard. She even says she will pay him, but he refuses. She then requests that she must deliver the package and asks him to guard her halfway. He accepts to guard her only till nearby port town and says he doesn't need money. They get on horse and she thanks him. Passing the forest, he asks is that box really precious, but she refuses to show him and says it is very precious. They reach the port town, and we see fresh vegetable market around. As they walk, Ruri says trade has gone up here and asks Yuki if he has been here. He nods yes, and she adds that she has hired a ship to sail ahead. A portman announced ship to demonic continent has been cancelled due to ongoing war. Ruri surprised and cries, thinking what she will do now. Ruri asks other shipmen if they can take her, but all of them refuse. She asks every shipman but get disheartened. A group of guards showed up saying they are Knights of Destinia and ask her for her merchant ID. She shows her documents, but they still bully her, saying, "We soldiers risk our lives in war while merchants roam free." They ask her to show her bag, but she refuses, saying it's just for trade. Yuki watches this from the side. They say that if she doesn't show the bag, they can confiscate it. As they try to snatch it, Yuki stops them and asks for their permit to check. They ask, "Who is he?" Knowing he is her guard, they tell him not to challenge the royal knights and draw their swords on him. Crowd gathered there and started taunting them, after which they backed off. Yuki wonders it must be tough for Elka and Glein to manage these folks. Suddenly Ruri jumps and hug him and thank him. This is a beautiful town we see, and they start eating sandwiches. Ruri praises him for saving her and offers him sandwiches. He compliments her too for not giving up before the guards. She asks him how he knew about permit rule, and he reply only soldier with a badge can question civilians. He asks what's her plan now. She adds that she will search for more ships or buy one. That's impossible, he replies. A ship costs way more. Yuki says he has an idea, as he is on his way for Demonic Island and she can come along, but only on a condition: she needs to rest for today, as she is all weak and tired and can't even eat properly. She agrees and says they will split the cost of the inn and leave for the room. In the room, Ruri opens her precious brooch, and after taking bath, Yuki asks her to freshen up. Yuri comes to him while he is sitting on a chair and asks him to hold her box. He asks if she is sure. She opens the box, shows him the brooch and says it was her grandpa's last craft. Seeing it, he remembers. She add her grandpa was a famous jeweler, no one could match his skill in the entire kingdom. She said one day someone requested a brooch, and despite having little time, her grandpa completed his last piece of jewelry. Ruri remembers the last advice he gave her. That money is the most important way to protect what's precious to you. And at last he trusted her and handed her the final box of his pride. To deliver it. She promised him to deliver it and tells Yuki that she wants to deliver this brooch safely. She hands the box to Yuki, goes for a bath, and playfully tells him not to take her money. Ruri is assured she will deliver the brooch safely. As Yuki touches it, he immediately remembers. It's the brooch he cast magic on. He sees brooch is broken and wonders if everything is safe as they sleep. The same guards barge in, suspecting them of spying on demons, and ask, where are they? Yuki wakes up at the noise, and as they enter the room, Ruri becomes terrified. Yuki acts quickly and run out of window, and these guards chase them. Yuki picks Ruri and runs with the guards chasing them, while Ruri cries in fear. Yuki flicks bottles at them, knocking them over, and they both run away. They reach a dead end. Yuki knows they're in trouble, as the guards follow. With nowhere to go, guard asks Yuki to apologize, but he completely refuses. Ruri tells him not to provoke them, and Yuki then picks her up and jumps off the cliff. The guards are shocked, and so is Ruri. She thinks she's flying. As they fall off the cliff, Yuki summons someone. A massive monster emerges from water. Yuki lands on it, apologizing for summoning him all of a sudden, and asks to take them to Demonic Island. The guards are in complete shock, wondering how they will report this. Ruri is surprised by the Leviathan, the god of the ocean, and wonders why she ever asked Yuki to guard her. Finally, they arrive Demonic Continent. Suddenly, a giant squid erupts from the water, and a massive clash occurs between Levia and Squid. Yuki gets excited, cheering for Levia, while Ruri seems frightened. Levia scolds Setsu for not helping and just speculating. Setsu introduces Levia, the goddess of ocean, as a friend. Levia, being dramatic, says Ruri is lucky to see her. Are you really the ocean goddess? Ruri asks, thrilled. Levia scolds Yuki for not helping. He says he wanted to enjoy kaiju battle. Levia gets angry about suddenly calling her up and using as a fairy, and Yuki smiles nervously as Ruri asks what to do with dead squid. Levia tells Setsu to deal with it, surprising him, but he makes squid rings and Ruri enjoys them, saying they're delicious. Yuki says they've reached the demonic continent, and Levia points out a nearby village and the demon lord's castle near. Ruri is surprised to hear about the demon lord's castle. Yuki says she has a delivery there, and Levia mentions yes, a brooch needed to repair. Ruri asks about Dezostal, and Levia look at Yuki and tells her your package will go to Demon Lord Deza, shocking Ruri. Levia starts leaving, saying her job is done, and he asks why she isn't coming with them. You know Deza better. Levia brandishes her weapon. You came back after 5 years to treat me like a boat, even hanging with other women. And now this? Setsu says, a lot has happened, as demon kids appear, calling it a lover's quarrel and saying a man must always apologize. Setsu gets irritated, gives them squid rings, and tells them to go. They enjoy it and run off, asking him to make some for their parents too. Levia happily says there are plenty of rings left. Kids cheers. And when Ruri says they can't let the squid body rot, they move the squid to village. Men in the village are sad. The squid monster stopped fishing, merchants stopped coming, and they're running out of food. Another man says they need to fight the squid together. When Setsu comes and asks if he can leave dead squid here, they're all surprised. In the next scene they're seen dancing. There's a feast where everyone is enjoying. Levia gets special treatment as the ocean goddess, and a man pours her a drink which she enjoys. They give her special seafood, and she says fish is always better raw. Everyone enjoys the squid rings. Setsu is preparing fresh rings when Levia taunts him to hurry, and he instantly slices the squid into rings with one flash of his sword. Everyone is impressed with his skills. The kids enjoy the feast, and Ruri delivers the rings to everyone. The head of the demon lord's personal guard sees fire from far and fears humans have invaded the village. He runs quickly toward the village to save it. Ruri calls Levia to sit with her, and Levia asks, are you drunk too? Ruri refuses and shows her the juice she's been drinking, asking Levia to sit and chat. Levia agrees and sits next to her. Ruri asks how Levia knows Setsu and the demon lord so well. Levia thinks for a moment. She says Setsu crossed the ocean without permission. 5 years back, she fought him. Then he asked for her help in a war. But in reality she got angry during the war and went up on shore. But Setsu stopped her with a single punch. Ruri realizes that's how they know the demon lord. Levia asks isn't Setsu famous in Destinia, making Ruri realize he's the same Setsu who stopped the war. She's shocked. Now she gets how he knows Livia and the Demon Lord. She's shocked that why Sestu would guard her. Ruri asks about ocean accidents. She says she promised him to maintain peace, but he treated her like a boat that was awful. Ruri asks if she's mad at him, but she denies it, saying seeing Setsu again was enough. Ruri asks, "You must love him, right?" Livia laughs, saying no ocean god can love a human and that she was just waiting for him when the guard arrives and sees everyone is having drinks and squid rings and a child offer him too. All the squid rings are sold out. Everyone leaves and Ruri sits with Livia on a bridge. Ruri sleeps in her lap and Livia uses her magic to catch raw fish, which she enjoys. The guard apologizes for his behavior, shocked to see the ocean goddess in human form, and as Sestu comes he knew it must be him. Setsu asks why the head guard is out of the castle. He replies he came to see Livia but didn't know she'd be with Setsu. He says he is hopeful now and addresses them all, asking to save the Demon Lord. He says the Demon Lord is being asked to marry a man named Terran. Livia asks if that's good, and he replies it's not. She's being forced through a curse. Setsu says Deza can't break the curse. The guard says Terran bought a cursed necklace and Setsu thinks it must be powerful. He says the war started a month ago when humans invaded with armor and left their country's flag. Setsu, shocked, asks, "Flags of Destinia?" He says they've been attacked repeatedly. The Demon Lord's army never returned, and Terran is the man who offered to negotiate. Livia asks if he claims to stop the war. The guard says yes. Setsu, suspicious about Tenor, asks if he's really powerful, and the guard says he's as strong as Setsu. Ruri says he's not a fighter but a wealthy merchant, as most ships belong to Terran's trade company. The guard adds he has all the wealth. He says both humans and demons need merchants, so his claim to stop the war isn't baseless. Setsu asks Deza would be enslaved just for war. Setsu grabs his neck, asking why generals are okay with it. He say they want to fight to the last man. Livia says the Demon Lord wants peace. Livia says Demon Lord is keeping a promise to someone who disappeared. She gets up and say we must not leave her alone. Livia and Sestu seems running across the jungle in the middle of night. Setsu says he never thought to use the same route they used for a surprise attack before. It's nostalgic. Then wolves attack, and Livia says she'll handle it. She attacks back. And we return to the scene where the guard says the wedding date isn't fixed, but the Demon Lord is ready, so they mustn't waste a second. He mentions Terran has skilled guards around the castle and asks him to save his powers. Livia replies, "Leave that to me," and the guard thanks them. Setsu takes a shortcut. Asked if she can keep up, she says, "I'm the god of the ocean." They leave, and Ruri watches. Livia uses her power and quickly smashes all the wolf monsters, cutting them to pieces with her weapon. Livia asks the plan. Setsu says he'll stop the wedding and Terran both. She asks how he'll stop the war without merchants. He says Terran is behind it and that the guard said Destinia was attacked first, though Destinian says demons struck first. He also saw metallic giants, neither Destinian nor demonic. This war wasn't a mere coincidence. Terran must be behind it. He isn't sure who started the war, but Terran must know something. And the wolf monster attacked again. Livia used her powers to destroy them. Sestu, impressed, said, "You're a beast on land too. Did you get stronger?" She said she is stronger in the ocean too. Have. As they ran, she thought it was always like this with Sestu, risk and adventure. 5 years ago, she had no interest in shore, but meeting him made her see how beautiful the world is, not just for Sestu's promise, but for her own peace in the seas. She wouldn't let Deza loose. They ran, and she said squid rings were better than raw ones. He promised to make her as many as she wanted. Passing through forests, they finally reached to Evil Barrow Castle of Denim Lord. They ran, and Livia playfully said, "Do your worst, Sestu." The Demon Lord Deza believed she'd lived long, played many roles of ruler, protector, but still, world is beyond her control. She kept fighting until one day Sestu appeared, defeated her, and urged an end to the war. He offered his hand and told her he would rather sit and talk. She took his hand and he gifted her a brooch. It was a sign of peace. He said black suited her, and she realized she must stop the war and began to cry. The scene shifted as the Demon Lord learned of Sestu's disappearance. Guards said they searched everywhere, but even Destinia had no information. Looking at her reflection, Deza determined to keep her promise to Sestu and told the guards they must work for lasting peace. Vlad pledged to even lay down his life for the cause. The Demon Lord then visited the capital. Seeing its prosperity, she gets happy. They saw their kingdom thriving and everyone working hard, though sadly, the brooch Sestu gave her had broken. Deza said she might have worn it too long. The guard mentioned a skilled jeweler in Destinia and said he would send it for repair. As they are walking, she kept looking at Broach. A soldier ran to the demon lord's castle, reporting that the Destinian army had invaded and the battle raged outside castle. Veld was disappointed. The peace lasted 5 years. Deza ordered her top officers to ready the army and sent 2 soldiers to Destinia to investigate. She says we must find out what's going on in Destinia, and she herself stays committed to the peace promise she did to Sestu. Soldiers geared up, secured important supplies, and worried about the armored enemy, unseen 5 years ago, and whether they would survive. They regretted trusting humans in the peace deal but still trusted the demon lord. A month passed with no word from Destinia. She feared for the nation's future, unsure how long they'd last, and questioned her ability to keep her promise to Sestu. Vlad entered and informed her that Terran Sneeder from Trading Company had arrived and wanted to speak. She welcomed him. Terran offered his assistance in ending the war with Destinia. Deza said wealth could be useful. He boasted he could end the war outright, not just offer help. Such was his power. The demon lord asked Terran's request and what he wanted in return. He said he wanted her as his wife. Deza replied, "You mean slave?" He placed a necklace before her, shocking everyone as its powerfully curse. Deza said, "You came prepared. Where did you get this?" Terran said he did it for the name of love. Vlad immediately urged Deza to refuse, but she asked for some time. Terran said sarcastically, "I have all the time, but you might not," and then departed from there. In a room, Deza ponders and say this might be the only way to keep her promise to Sestu. Vlad urged her not to accept the ridiculous offer. With the army ready to fight to the last man, she said that was exactly why she couldn't refuse. Vlad grew furious, and Deza asked, "Do you think me unworthy of being demon lord?" Vlad left. The demon lord recalled Sestu's comment about her in black and wondered if he'd laugh seeing her in white against her will. Elsewhere, Terran told a mysterious man that convincing Deza was easy, and the demonic kingdom would be theirs. Terran asked to pull magic soldiers, but he refused. Terran asked why, as he want Deza, and the mysterious man, smiling creepily, said, "It's my master's wish." The scene shifted to the demon lord's wedding ceremony in the church. With everyone seated, demons attended the wedding looking unhappy. The mysterious man also appeared. The demon lord entered. The demon lord appeared in a wedding dress, her beauty captivating the crowd and tenor himself. As she moves ahead to exchange vows, as they were about to exchange vows, Terran raised the cursed necklace and declared they were entering a master phase-servant vow. He then declared that with Terran Trading's help he would bring peace to the world and demanded their allegiance as the new demon lord. He added that together they would protect and bring peace. The crowd applauded as the demon grew angry. He asked Deza to wear the cursed necklace and vow eternal love. Thinking of Sestu, she stepped forward. She wished she could see Sestu one last time, when suddenly he burst into the church. Crowd run around thinking they are under attack when Deza sees Sestu with his sword, and he say he is here to rescue her. Vlad and Ruri also notices his arrival and says they need to act quickly. Terran, puzzled by Sestu's presence, asked who he was and ordered his guards to protect him, but Livia dealt with them swiftly using her powers. Livia saw Deza and told her to quit the wedding dress, saying white didn't suit her, when a mysterious man attacked her with a shadow stab. Livia froze under his magic and he mocked. "The ocean goddess isn't impressive on land," Sestu intervened. Sestu struck him hard, sending him crashing down, and vowed to make him pay for making Deza cry. The man, surprised by Sestu's presence, said he'd inform his master and attack, but Sestu easily blocked him, struck him with his sword and sent him flying. Sestu struck him again, pinning him to a pillar and challenged him. Smiling, he said, "You're strong, but I must inform my master," and left. He escaped right in front of Sestu using his powers. Deza hugged him tightly, saying how much she missed him and asking where he had gone. He replied, "It's a long story." He hugged her, relieved she was safe. When Livia pointed out the attackers were still there, Sestu looked, and they turned to ash. They were cursed. As Sestu held the cursed necklace, he suspected Thomas was after it. Deza agreed and as Demon Lord, offered to help him. Sestu asked her to handle things while he visited Regulus, king of the Beastmen. She agreed, though she felt he was rushing. Sestu reminded her of their promise of peace, and she nodded. Livia asked if she had to be fairy again. Vlad and Ruri arrived. Vlad saw the castle in ruins. Ruri asked Sestu if all went well. He said yes, and she handed him a box. She asked him to give the box to Deza. Curious, he opened it, and inside was the same brooch that was broken. He make her wear it for the second time. Ruri along with everyone look at them and Deza thinks once again he taught her what it means to live. The army began rebuilding the castle and arrested Terran. Deza wished to go with Sestu but couldn't leave the throne, and he promised to take her anywhere once peace was restored. Veld murmured that peace didn't mean a ruler could leave, while Livia said not to let Deza do all the work. Veld thanked Sestu and said he'd always be there if he ever needed anything. Sestu said he'd count on him, then asked Livia if she was ready to leave. She replied that she'd always go with him. They left the castle, and Deza shouted for him to come back after the war, bidding him goodbye. We go back in time when young Sestu and Yuri met and Yuri asked him to play with her, but he declined saying it's too hot outside. He seems unfriendly at first, but living nearby leads them to spend time together. The scene shift where Yui spots a poster and asks if she can go to the same high school as him, then quickly says she's kidding. Yuki stares at the poster and moves forward, and on the stairs Yui asks him the same question again. Yuki thinks, then says she should choose an easier school, as going to same school would bring her trouble. His words sadden Yuhi and she leaves. Time passes, and she seems to attend prep school. Despite her efforts, her mock test results don't improve, leaving her sad and doubting herself. One day, returning from prep school, she meets some boys in the park who ask if she's upset about her mock results. They tell her to give up if it's too hard and suggest she stop studying and hang out with them. Sestu arrives and tells the boys to pick on someone else since she's busy studying, and they leave. He asks her what she'll do next, adds that what they said isn't entirely wrong, and advises her not to go beyond her limit. Yuhi keeps looking around nervously as Yuki watches her quietly. Through tears, Yuhi tells him that even if people think she isn't good enough, she still wants to go to the same school as him. Yuki pats her head and says he'll help her study, but he won't go easy on her no matter how much she cries. Yuki wipes her tears, thanks him, and says she's always wanted to stay close to him. Back in the present world, Elka gives instructions to the students as they practice magic. Yuhi stands out as best among all and Elka compliments her. Elka and Jelen call it a day, and as the students walk off, Yuhi follows Elka and Jelen to talk. Yuki asks if they're Sestu's companions from before, and they confirm saying he's a companion, and wonders if Sestu even feels the same. She says she has utmost respect for him, and say she wished to stand by him forever. Elka asks what is her question. Yuhi asks if they can give her special training so she can be with Yuki too, and they seem taken aback. Elka take Yuhi to Castle Wall and says this is the peaceful world Sestu created, and he must be fighting somewhere, maintaining it. She says as Sestu's companions, they are always ready at a moment's notice, and Yuhi admits she's determined but weak. Yuhi asks Elka for a battle to improve her fighting skills and Elka draw her sword to her. Yuhi defends against Elka's attack, and as Elka keeps striking, she defends again with her magic, until Elka draws her sword. Elka compliments her on getting stronger, and she adds that while all kids are extraordinary, Yuhi is special. Elka adds that Yuhi still lacks something if she wants to stand beside Sestu, and leads her toward the castle sewers. Elka adds that the sewer is filled with monsters and used as a final battleground, leaving Yuhi scared and uncertain. A monster emerged from water leaving Yuhi all baffled and Elka asks her not to be scared. Elka instructs her to fight without flinching, and tells her she already has enough strength. As the monster attack, Yuhi attack back with fire magic and gets happy but Elka asks her to be cautious. The monster retaliates, scratching Yuhi's arm, but she sends it flying again with her magic. Yuhi is shocked as the monster keeps rising, and Elka tells her to finish it, and tells she is indeed strong now but in war, you kill or your friends die. Elka adds that to save her loved ones she must fight, saying determination is what she lacks. Yuhi recalls her first fight, wondering if she can do the same, as Elka kills the monster with her sword. Elka leaves, and Yuhi sits in distress, thinking this is what she lacks. As Yuhi sitting in her room ponders the situation, when Thea enters, she heals Yuhi's injuries with her magic, and Yuhi thanks her. Thea says Elka was crazy to throw her into battle like that. Yuhi says she asked for it, and Thea adds that she sees her as one of them, just as Sestu looks at her the same way he looks at them. Thea says she understands Elka's approach, as she wants to treat her equally. Thea asks why she wants to be with Sestu, knowing it puts her in danger, and Yuhi replies that Sestu has helped her whole life. Now it's my turn to help. Yuhi replies, and Thea wishes her luck, which she gratefully thanks. As Thea leaves, Elka stands outside, saying Yuhi is strong and can defend herself on the battlefield. Elka expresses concern over the danger Yuhi would face fighting alongside them, but Thea says it's Yuhi's decision alone. Thea says they should respect her determination and she left saying she will sleep more. Elka ponders something. As Jelen walks the corridor he sees Yuhi looking sad and asks if it's about last night, saying it's normal to hesitate at taking lives. He says it's hardest when someone is precious and that he fights because he'd rather make others suffer than see his people suffer. He says that's how it is for him, and she needs to find her own determination. Yuhi thinks it over as Jelen says Sestue would want her to find her own answer. And looking at her hands, she decides she wants to fight. As Yuhi practices her fire magic again, she blows apart her target, surprising everyone. With her magic, she blasts a complete hole through the wall. As Yuhi accompanies Elka back to the castle sewer, Elka asks if she's determined now, and she says she's decided. As they move forward, a monster emerges again, and Elka says forcing herself out of her comfort zone might break her. Yuhi asks her to witness her determination, and as the monster closes in, she unleashes her full fire magic. She blows the monster away completely. Elka praises her accuracy and determination, but Yuhi says it isn't dead yet, only incapacitated. She says she will never take anyone's life and won't fail. Elka, impressed, praises her determination. Elka says this will require extraordinary power, and Yuhi happily replies she will grow stronger and protect everyone. The army prepares for war as the knights instruct them to leave for the demonic nation tomorrow. Everyone murmurs that the time has finally come, while Yuhi stands quietly, pondering. She thinks of Yuki and joins her comrades, ready to fight alongside them. Sestue and Livia ride a carriage through beautiful scenery when Sestue asks if she's being too relaxed. Livia laid back, eating cookies, when Sestue reminds her, "You just said yesterday you'd tag along no matter how far." She says there's nothing to do until they reach the Beatsman continent, which he agrees with, and adds she's on her ferry duty after port, and this is a small price for her employment. Sestue notes the war has halted all ships and asks if she can use magic to transfer them, but she says it's too much hustle and requires years of practice. She adds it's not easy. Sestue agrees. If it were, no one would need ships or horses, and she asks for compensation. She jokingly asks for more cookies, and as he gives her, the carriage stops suddenly. Two girls also enter the carriage, and one recognizes Sestue as she looks at him. Sestue recognizes her too, calling her Alizi, and she bursts into tears. Calling him master, Sestue introduces her, saying they traveled together when he was summoned last time, and she adds that she was his top pupil, trained by him for combat. Alizi then introduces her sister Amel. Sestue asks, "You have a sister too?" And she replies, "Yes." Alizi asks, "Where have you been for 5 years, leaving your allies behind?" And as he begins explaining, they all confront him. He then tells her the whole story, and she says, "So now you're trying to stop Thomas' plan. I would never have believed it if it weren't coming from you." He then offers Alizi to come to Beastman continent with them and help him. She says she would have come, but is caught up in a situation right now, and adds that she started taking on jobs fighting monsters. She says one day she accepted a request to slay a dragon in Zathro village, and in a flashback, a man offers her a place to stay in the village. She meets Amel there and greets her warmly. She starts eating, and Amel asks if she likes it. She says yes, fresh food is rare in Evilbarrow, and she asks if she lives alone. As Amel cuts fruit, she says it used to be her brother's place. He found her 2 years ago, and since then they've been family. She says he hasn't come back after the dragon first appeared, and now she is all alone again, and offer her fruits. Alizi appreciates the villagers' kindness, says she'd like to stay here once the issue is resolved, which Amel happily agrees to. She asks Amel to treat her as a big sister if it's okay, and Amel happily agrees and hugs her. At present, Sestue asks if Amel's brother was killed by the dragon. She says, "No, whenever dragon attack, villagers go missing, but not her brother." She adds there are no evidence from dragon attacks or even battle. People just vanishes without any trace. Sestue find it strange and Livia add they are just being sprited away. Back in the village, Alizi disables the ward to lure the dragon. Amel warns it's dangerous, but Alizi tells her to go back home. Amel shows her the butterfly she caught, and tells her she is good at catching. Alizi finds it strange to be called Big Sister. The scene shifts to the dragon attacking. She furiously fights it, and when it disappears, after which she goes after it. She loses track and returns to the village, only to find all the other villagers missing. Except Amel, she goes straight to her and decides to head to the city to find someone to take care of her, but bumps into you. Livia says the entire village went missing, is a big deal, and Alizi adds she wants to find her brother so she can live peacefully. She asks Sestue if he has any idea, and he says he'll help since they're his pupils, and they thank him. As it rains heavily, Livia says this incident only be explained by zombies. The whole village became walking dead. She says there's an evil necromancer in the village. Sestu adds the zombies multiply not go invisible, and she notes only flying zombies turn invisible. Sestu says he's never heard of it and asks about the dragon. She says it's a zombie turned dragon, and he pats her, telling her to be serious. She adds that missing sailors are usually taken by sirens. When Sestu says it's mountains, not the ocean, she replies who knows, they could be there too. Amel adds sea monsters have a weird smell and are easy to identify, then embarrassed, says, of course Livia doesn't smell. Sestu playfully says the culprit must be aliens, coming in flying saucers from the moon to abduct humans. Livia tells him to be serious, and he says the dragon might be an advanced species, asking if she can vanish villagers without a trace. She says to stop assuming, she can't and won't. Alize asks if she's a dragon, and she denies it, saying, stop comparing me from a goddess to a mere dragon. Alize is shocked to hear God of the Sea, and Livia asks why the dragon didn't make Alize disappear when the carriage stops due to high water level. Livia asks Alize her plan, and she says she must find the missing villagers and now has Master Sestu. Sestu asks why the dragon keeps attacking. Livia says maybe the dragon is just hungry or drawn there by magic. When he asks, she explains people attract monsters with magic. She says powerful magic can attract monsters, and he asks why they disappear, saying there must be some place they vanish to. He then say transfer magic could be a reason and add it could be possible that attack happens after people vanishes. He says the only explanation is they've been taken by transfer magic and the dragon is attracted to it. Alize asks who must be the user. He says transfer magic takes years to master, then asks about someone who arrived 2 years ago. Amel says that's absurd and says aliens would be more convincing, and Alize adds she's a victim too. Sestu asks her, when Livia was telling the siren story, you mentioned the distinct smell of sea monsters. Livia adds that most demons smell like that, and Sestu says Livia isn't ordinary. She's a sea goddess who keeps her power hidden. So how did Amele know who she was? Ameli replies saying I know a bit about monster, and she suddenly attacked them. They barge through the attacks, and she transforms into the dragon that had been disguised as a human. The dragon attacks furiously as Livia runs off, and Alize remembers Sestu not recognizing her as his top pupil. Sestu orders her to attack the dragon, and she launches into fight. As the dragon flew toward them attacking, Sestu and Alice caused it to slip, and Livia then combined her magic with Sestu's sword, and Sestu struck the dragon, calling to Alize as she came flying in, hitting the dragon and killing it. And its snow fell gently over them, riding on Livia as she sailed. She asked if it was okay to leave Alize alone. He replied, the dragon is down, she can handle it from here. And he adds she her my pupil, she should finish job she takes on. Alize visits the village again and remembers the moment she spent with Amele. Amel entered, shocking Alize, who immediately drew her sword. Amel smirked. You thought I was dead, didn't you? Amel laughed. Dull sense of smell, she said, the dragon by her side. Alize asked, where are villagers? They are all dolls now, she added, as they all had strong powers and she needed soldier for war. There was never anyone called Amel. As Alize asked who she was, Amel smirked. I am Meluer the monster. Toma gave me that name. The story continues in Leoport Beastman continent, where a cute girl named Shiro comes and a women start offering her free gift. People in the port begin offering her fresh food, but she says she feels bad accepting so many gifts. They say it's the least they can do after her help with the supply chain, reminding her to take care of her little sister. She thanks everyone and leaves, when a few children ask her to teach them how to fight monsters. She says it's her job. She tells the kids their job is to play. More people offer her milk and soup. She says softly she can't carry any more. Shiro gets back home with all the gifts she received, and her sister Minko says everyone loves you. Shiro says she'll give the food to people who need it. Just as Minko, unwell, begins to cough, Shiro rushes to give her the medicine, worried, while Minko cries and apologizes to her. Shiro pulls her into a hug, telling her she'll be fine and asks her to do her best. Minko cries and says she'll try her best. A man angrily denies there is no boat available, on which Sestu tell him he has urgent work, but he denies. Sestu asks Livia to handle it, but she gets mad as she has been swimming from 3 days. He says, you're the only one I can rely on. Sestu pats her head. She says she can swim again if rest till tomorrow. Just as the boatman tells a boat is available, Livia gets mad again. In another part of town, Shiro thanks the inn's owner for finding her medicine. She says she doesn't mind helping. Shiro asks if she has siblings. The owner takes out a picture and warns Shiro that this job can be dangerous. She asks her to kill the man in the picture, offering a reward so large she'd never have to work or worry about medicine again. Soon Sestu enters the inn and Shiro leaves. Livia asks for room with fluffy beds. Sestu asks for a good place to eat. She mentions a nearby dinner. Scene shifts to Shiro sharing a meal with Minko. Shiro asks if Minko's done. She apologizes for the trouble. Shiro checks her medicine and tells her she has a task to complete. Shiro tells Mineko to go to bed without her. It's revealed she's wearing a cursed necklace. Back to the inn, Sestu and Livia sleeping and Kuro gives this information to Shiro, who is hiding outside. Kuro asks if Shiro is hesitant, but she says she's made up her mind. Shiro asks if she can call her sister. Shiro says she's the reason they survived, looking after her sister's medicine and her own. She asks if she can call her big sister and stay with her once the job is done. Kuro says she can call her whatever she wants. She tells Shiro to finish the job so Minko won't be sad. Shiro says, "I promise, Sister Kuro," and takes the keys. She leaves for the room. Kuro thinks about what she said and realizes she hasn't heard the word sister in a long time. As Shiro enters the room, she attacks Sestu with her claws, only to realize it was an illusion. Sestu hits her hard, sending her flying out the window. He asks, "Are you one of Tomas' goons?" Shiro denies knowing Tomas, but insists on taking his life and transformed into her beast form and throwing a fireball at him. He defended easily and asked her not to blast in middle of city and slapped her, and she fell off again. She falls unconscious. Seeing her, Livia asks if it's curse magic. Sestu replies that she likely got it from somewhere. Shiro wakes up and sees Sestu in her own house. As she tries to attack, Minko stops her. "Sestu brought you here while you were unconscious." Shiro thanks Sestu. "I understand why you took the dangerous job for your sister," Sestu says. "But this isn't ill." Both are shocked. He then uses magic to reveal that Minko is under a powerful curse. Livia suspects it might be Tomas, but Sestu insists their priority is saving her. Shiro asks anxiously if her sister can be saved. Shiro pleads with Sestu to save her sister. He assures her he will, and she starts sobbing. Sestu tells Mineko it will be unpleasant and asks if she can bear it. She says yes, and lies down. Sestu then prepared a special magic sword named Glutton. Shiro asks about it, and he says this is his secret trump card. Sestu orders Glutton to devour the curse. It splits in two to lift the spell, and Shiro cheers her sister to hold on. Kuro attacks Sestu, and Shiro takes the blow. Injuring herself, Kuro scolds Shiro for protecting her assassination target. Sestu remembers the innkeeper, but can't halt the process yet. Kuro moves to attack Sestu. Livia steps in, and Sestu remarks on her strength, but Livia declares, "I am the ocean goddess." Kuro strikes, but Livia blocks effortlessly. Kuro asks why a sea god sides with humans. Livia readies her attack. Kuro asks if Sea God is powerful on land too, and then multiply in many clone to attack Livia. Livia in a single strike attack and won the battle. She then asks Kuro about Tomas' intentions. Shiro calls her sister, and Kuro shoots a look. "Big sister, how revolting." Kuro scolds her for sparing the assassination and calling her sister. Livia warns her to answer, and she says, "Tomas' goal is to end every species in the world. We're all his pawns," she says. Livia asks how a human could do it. Kuro answers, "Tomas can," then vanishes. Sestu comes out and say did she got away, and Minko comes out hugs Shiro, saying she is fine now. They hug each other, crying. Sestu shows Livia the same cursed necklace Deza had and says, "Tomas is a complete wreck." Livia worries that if he will destroy the world, Sestu says he will stop him by punching him and morning sun rises. Sestu and Livia again start sailing. Livia sighs. "I thought I'd get some sleep and food, but last night was another mess. Now we really need to meet the Beast King. Who thought we'd fight for world peace?" Sestu says. He sees Shiro and Minko on side and stops the boat. Shiro insists, "We'll come too." They insist on coming along, saying they'll be useful combat. Shiro adds she needs to repay them for helping Minko, and she wants to see Kuro again. Sestu looks at Livia. She nods and asks them, "It's going to be a tough fight. Are they sure?" He invites them onto the boat and moves forward. "Just wait, Tomas," Sestu says. In the past there was a duel between Sestu and Roa, the Beast King's daughter. She says she won't accept him as her master. "I never intended to be your master," Sestu says. "Even if you save the world, you'll never be my master until you defeat me," she replies. Sestu tells her to bring it on. She hesitates at first, but with a push from him, she makes her move and strikes. In the present at the royal kingdom of Regdom, the beastmen debates whether to invade human or demon. One beastman insists on protecting their people first, claiming it's their pride. Another opposes him, and the argument heats up. Roa and the Beastman King both sense something. Roa runs ahead, while the other beastmen kept arguing. Sestu's boat reaches the kingdom. He claims to know Regulus and says he's here for something important, but the guards remain suspicious. Shiro and Minko vouch for Sestue, saying he's their master, but the guards refuse and tell them to leave. Irritated, Sestue says he should just leap in like last time. Suddenly, Roa drops from above, leaping over the guards. She says his scent and look are different, but it's clearly Sestue. He smiles, saying, "You haven't changed, Ro." Roa hugs Sestue to launch a sneak attack, but he swiftly counters. She compliments him on his strength. She praises her future master. Sestue says he never agreed. Shiro and Minko ask if she's the king's daughter. Livia confirms Roa asks why he took so long to come to her. Sestue says a lot happened, pats her chin, and Shiro mutters that she's jealous. King Regulus greets Sestue. Playfully he slams Kings to the ground. He smiles, strong as always. The king says he expected nothing less. Livia adds, "We just saw it, didn't we?" Sestue notices the beastman lying around, and the king asks why he looks different. King smells him, instantly knows who he is, and announces, "We must host a feast." The king orders a fight before the duel, but Sestue says he has urgent business. He sits and begins. It's about the war between humans and demons. Sestue reveals Thomas is alive and responsible for the killings. The king wants to act, but Sestue warns, "Not yet, he could attack here too." Livia says the king should remain as backup. Roa steps forward to go instead, and Regulus nods, she's the best for it. The king insists on going, but a man comes, warns that humans and demons both are enemies and they can't spare manpower while they're under risk. He introduces himself as Ruga, the army commander and Rao's fiancé. The king calls Sestue their hero. Ruga protests, "This is the same hero who vanished for 5 years. Who knows if he's still with us?" Rao defends Sestue as their future master. Ruga refuses to agree. Both sides have valid points and the king asks how to decide, when Ruga challenges Sestue to a duel. The king officially declares the duel. The winner will be betrothed to Rao. The crowd cheers. Ruga tells Sestue to prepare for his demise. The king apologizes to Sestue, saying this is the only way to convince the beastman. The king tells him to win the duel and earn their military support. Along with Rao, holding Sestue's hand, she says he is my only master. Rao smiles. He's so nice. Shiro and Minko want him as their master too. Rao approaches Ruga. Sestue is extraordinary. "You don't stand a chance," he replies. "I'm a warrior myself." He says he can't back down and still has a chance. He wields a magic rune that turns strong will into strength. "A rune?" she asks. He replies, "The king might advise against relying on magic, but if it's needed to protect you, I will use it." She thinks to herself, "Even now, Ruga won't look at me. That's why I never fell for him." The crowd bursts into cheers. Shiro and her sister cheer for Sestue, and the scene shifts to the arena. Sestue says this has become a big deal. Rao tells him to knock Ruga down and gives him a good luck pat. The king declares the battle rules. It ends when one surrenders, and the winner will marry Rao. The fight begins. Ruga launches the attack. Sestue blocks, saying, "You're fast." Ruga strikes with a flying claw, but Sestue easily counters. Blood spills from Ruga. Sestue challenges him. Ruga transforms into a beast. Rao warns Sestue. This transformation makes Ruga stronger. Sestue grabs the beast and smashes him into dust. The crowd gasps at how easily Sestue crushed Ruga. Rao cheers. "You're the best." Sestue smirks. "That's it for now." And say he will borrow Roa for now. Ruga rises. Furious, Sestue says, "I don't want to hurt your pride anymore." Ruga roars, "I will never be defeated by you." An inner voice echoes in Ruga. Is this jealousy, or the hatred of my own weakness? Back to the scene, where Roa had a battle with Sestue and Raga stood there in anger. Ruga transforms into the beast and says he cannot lose. Sestue can't understand this power. Livia realizes it's Tomas's curse on Ruga. Ruga strikes Sestue with a powerful attack. Panic erupts as the king evacuates the audience. Sestue understands the source. Tomas' curse and Livia pass him his sword. The beast lunges at him, furious. Sestue slashes his hand, but with his power, it instantly regenerates. Roa rushes, telling the duel is cancelled, but Ruga gets out of control. Sestue tell him to calm down as this curse can transmit him, while Roa says she will finish him herself. Sestue says Ruga is being controlled, and he doesn't want him to die. He says he'll execute a plan, leaving himself defenseless. Sestue calls his magical sword Glutton, just as Tomas himself arrives. In magical form Tomas appears. "How are you, Sestue? I had to stop Ruga, wasting your precious magic. I really should have come to see you in person." Tomas grins, "I expected your return. It's good to see you." Rao lashes out, "You cursed Ruga." Tomas warns, not to interrupt. Tomas moves to strike Rao with magic. Sestu warns him, and he cries, "It's always someone else over me, for even if you promised me." Toma says, "Even after this, I will make you happy," and says, "I will kill all humans, demons, beastmen, all for 4, and says, "Once all finished, Sestu and I will live quietly as gods." "Cut it, you idiot," Sestu says. Sestu adds, "If you hurt innocents, I will cut you down," and Toma glares at his sword pointing at him, and tell him invasion has begun already. The world is already moving. "How will you save everyone?" Toma says, "I'm already winning," and vanishes. The beast falls down dead. The king regrets his decision of duel fight. "It isn't your fault," Sestu says. Sestu says it's not time to sulk, and insists they move to the demonic continent to stop Toma, while the king assures the army will be well prepared. They feast on thumb and leaves, as Roa quietly ponders something. Sestu asks her if she is okay, and she replies she is fine and says we have things to work on ahead, and they leave from there. The scene shifts to 10 years ago when a few magicians from Distinia summon two people, Sestu and Toma, to their world. Both are confused when the king announces their visitors sent to save the nation, and everyone cheers, while Sestu protests he never agreed. He says they were dumped here clueless and asked not to dump their problems on him. When asked his name, he says, Sestu. Sestu trains with swords as Toma asks how he is staying so calm in this messed up world. Sestu says this world has monsters and we need to be strong. Toma says he is scared of war in this foreign land. Sestu says complaining achieves nothing, and Toma argues it's wrong to risk their lives in a foreign land, but Sestu insists they must act. Sestu comforts Toma, saying they're in the same boat and must survive, and says things will work out as long as we are alive. Sestu asks Toma's support to stop the war, saying killing and dying is wrong in this unknown territory. Toma says it's impossible to stop the war and admits he isn't as strong as Sestu. Sestu tells Toma that they are allies and he will protect him. Toma asks if it's a promise and he says yes it is. Toma asks if Sestu is really leaving, and he says he must see this world to stop the war. Toma admits he's still scared. Toma vows to grow stronger to fight and stop the war, and Sestu says they'll meet again as true heroes. Sestu meets the other comrades of town and leaves. Toma watches him leaving, time passes, and the king of Distinia honors Toma for his valor and loyalty, which he gratefully accepts. Everyone praises Toma for becoming a knight, saying he'll soon be a general, and he recalls Sestu, saying he's closer to his promise. He declares he'll end the war soon and turns to the soldiers, asking if they're ready to die for him. They roar back, "Of course." Scene shift to a war and blast happening. The army storms Distinia, and Toma leads the charge from the front line. Toma strikes fiercely with his sword, cutting down many, and pushes forward into an unknown place. A headless statue stands in front of him and few soldier surrenders in front of him and he kills them. A man tells Toma the temple is cleared, and he heads out. As Toma moves on, a voice from the statue speaks, saying it sees into his heart, his envy and hatred. He keeps walking until the statue speaks of his deepest secret and true desire. Toma turns back, points his sword at it, and says who he is to tell his desires. The statue says it can grant all his desires. Toma notices a cursed necklace and begins to think of what he truly wants. Toma lowers his sword and steps closer as the statue tells him to grasp it to fulfill his desire, his eyes drawn to the necklace. The next scene shows Toma sitting beside dead soldiers. He recalls the soldiers telling him they can die for him, and the memory pushes him to keep fighting. He recalls his promises and dreams as he walks, his sword dripping water when a rider arrives with an urgent message. He brings word from the royal capital. All fighting must stop. A peace treaty will be signed, and they're ordered to protect the delegation. A delegation consisting Sestu and other comrades passes, leaving Toma shocked. He wonders why Sestu is in the delegation as the scene shifts to the peace agreement being signed. Next, they hold a ceremony unveiling a monument to honor peace and the war's end, as everyone chants, Sestu, the hero. Everyone happily cheers as the war is over, and Sestu seems it. When Toma arrives, Sestu asks why he looks sulky. Toma praises him for ending the war, but Sestu shrugs, saying he didn't do anything special. Toma admits he couldn't have done it. Sestu remarks he's become important too, just as comrades call Sestu to the party. Sestu tells them he will be right there, and leaves when Toma stops him. Toma says he worked hard, traveled far, and was offered to fulfill his desire in the temple, but all he wishes is to return to their world together. He says he found a way to go back, but Sestu denies, saying now that the war is over, he wants to see this place. He adds that it's their time to start life in another world, which frustrates Toma, making him cry in disappointment. A voice echoes to Toma about envy as Sestu sees things different. Sestu waves goodbye, but Toma cries, "You can't leave me again." Toma remembers Sestu's promise to stand by him. The cursed necklace appears on his sword, and he vows to destroy anything in his way. He says he will destroy human, demon, and beastman, if it takes to get back to the same world together. He draws his cursed sword at Sestu and the fight begins. Toma laughs while Sestu asks him to snap out of it. Everyone watches their swords clash as Toma looks at the crowd, claiming they're the ones who tricked Sestu and that all of them are unnecessary, and charges at Sestu. Their swords crash in a furious clash as Sestu strikes back. A massive blast of energy erupts as the others rush in to intervene, only to be met by a wall of thick smoke. The scene shifts to Toma, wounded and alone, thinking that none of his wishes came true. He drops a gemstone from his hand and says he is alone and tired. Cursed magic suddenly seeps from the gemstone, leaving Toma perplexed, wondering what it is. In the next scene, a man is dragged in chains into an experiment lab, where he's forcibly injected. The man convulses from shocks as others argue nearby. One warns the magic power is dangerously rising. The experiment resumes on two sisters, with talk of organ transplants causing no rejection. One girl pleads to let her go, the other wishes to escape. Other men tell her there is no place for them in the world, and Toma gets it that there are others like him. Picks the gemstone again. The building where the experiments are held is attacked, sending everyone into panic. The captives plead to be freed them as the building collapses around them. It was Toma who attacked the building. He tells the captives they're free and urges them to join him in destroying the world. They all walk ahead and joins him. The scene shifts to Toma meeting Sestu in magical form inside Ruga. He vanishes, and we see him thanking his other soldiers, and asks if they're ready to become gods, as the end is near. We see Destinia's ships sailing, loaded with soldiers and the foreign students who were summoned. A soldier informs that they're approaching the landing area, and the general announces that this war is by the king's order. He adds they will show the demons the true power of humans, and the soldiers cheer loudly. Thea spots a magical compass sensing Toma's presence on the continent. Our real enemy is Toma, not the demons, Glean says. He warns that telling the general about Toma would make them appear as spies, and Elka says it would start a pointless war with the demons. Glein asks about Sestu when Yuhi says he is probably doing best to stop the war, and Yuhi remembers what he said before, leaving about him meeting old allies to stop the war, and she remembers when she pleaded with him to take her, but he rejected as it would be dangerous for her. And Yuhi adds she trusts Sestu completely, and Glein add they need to do the same, as Elka says they must buy time until Sestu arrives. Thea tells Yuhi they must prevent casualties as much as possible and believe in herself, and they all come together. We see as the ship lands, the war begins. War erupts on both sides. Soldiers run across the battlefield as Glein orders his comrades to circle and strike. The general order magic soldiers to attacks and target enemy encampment, and other side retreat using fire magic. With the help of magic soldier they burst the first layer of defense and enters in for the kingdom. Glein orders to get inside, and Thea instructs other students to not go after injured. And they moves Glein and Elka strike fiercely, with Thea unleashing her magic while the other students worry about stopping the enemies before they reach them. They move to attack when a demon targets a student, but Yuhi swiftly saves her, and she apologizes for being scared. Yuhi consoles her, admitting she's scared too, and they start fighting again. One of the students captured a demon and tries killing when Yuhi intervenes. He protests, "Why are you stopping me? This is war. I kill or get killed." But Yuhi insists he can't move and is injured, and shouldn't be killed. A voice echoed, telling them to end their lives as several portals opened in the sky, leaving everyone in shock. Many metallic giants comes before them, and Yuhi remembers them from the time she was summoned. A melee also appeared, and as the Solitaire start asking, she launched a brutal attack with her sword. They tried to attack her, but she cut them down effortlessly. She crushed the soldiers, just as Glein arrived to slay the giants. As they see these metallic giants contain people beneath them, it surprised them, just when a hooded woman arrives, and her presence surprises everyone and they recognize the sword woman too, who just appeared from portal. They recognized her and called her Alizi, remembering her incestus party. One asked the hooded woman what she had done, and she replied, "I turned her into a doll." She says she intend to make everyone puppet, so they all can stay together. Elka struck her in anger, but she make Alizi moves ahead and fight, and Elka demanded she recognize her, but she didn't. Elka stepped back, but the hooded girl slashed her, spreading her blood, leaving Glein and the others confused. Thea says this is not regular blood but concentrated magic powers, and she introduces herself as Meluer, the monster. and Melior says goodbye to them, her blood twisted and formed into deadly monsters ready to strike. They all strikes together. Elka unleashed icicles that pierced the monsters, while Glein struck another with his flying sword. Melior commanded her remaining creatures to attack. That kills them with her magic, and Elka says she will finish Melior and you take care of the other monsters. Right when Yuri arrives killing one of monsters and Thea challenge Melior what she is gonna do next. Melior complains they are too strong. She orders Elias Fee to kill them, and Glein strikes her as well, defeating her. Elka attacks Melior, diffusing her magic organ and leaving her on blink of death. However, she refuses to die and gets up. Elka is shocked, asking how she survives without her magical organ, while she explains her body has been modified with extra magic. And she adds they were created as magic weapons and remember the cruel experiments on her, and says if Toma hadn't saved her, she would have killed, and says she will fight for Toma to destroy this world. And then she opens a magical portal and spell limit break magic, which will surpass all limitation, and then she summon Chimera and get on top of it to attack. She fuels her magic with her own life force and hatred in it. She then attacks with Chimera, but everyone dodge the attack, and she again prepares to attack. Thea and Yuhi protect everyone with their shield. However, their magic running low, and Chimera redies again for another attack. Glein asks Elka if she has any plan, and she gets an idea. Alizi unexpectedly kills Melior from behind. Everyone gets shocked, seeing Alizi. Elias Fai hugs Melior, remembering the time they spent together in the village, cherishing the moments of their life there. She remembers the time she asked her to treat her like a sister, and when Amel called her big sister. With this, Melior along with Chimera turned into stone, and everyone looks at her. It's all empathy now, Thea says. The healing is working, the injuries are serious, but she will survive. Glein says, looking at Elias Fay. Elka welcomes Elias Fay. Thea notes Melior's surprising power and suggests they should take a break. A shadowy hand emerges from River, revealing Kajus' arrival. He is surprised they defeated Melior. He seems really strong, says Elka. When Yuhi gets up to fight him and asks everyone to stand back, Yuhi adds, I am one of you, and says that if Yuki were here he would have done the same. Glein supports Yuhi to fight. Thea agrees with Glein and ready to provide backup for Yuhi, and Elka asks Yuhi not to give up as she says, watch, my training paid off. As she readies to fight, she recognizes the magic and Sestu arrives swiftly and praises Yuhi. Sestu announces, you are safe now, which makes Yuki extremely happy. A soldier reports to the Beastman King that they are ready to send aid to the demonic continent, while another asks about Fay Claire if war breaks out, and the king declares his trust in Sestu, saying he will take care of it. As we see Sestu comes back swiftly, Yuhi jumps over and hugs him, saying she missed him, then gets embarrassed for getting carried away. Sestu apologizes for making her wait, and she tells him about her training with Master Elka, asking him to watch out. And Sestu says I don't need another masochist character and asks her to stand out with everyone. He apologizes to Kiju for making him wait, and Kiju expresses his willingness to fight and blows his cover, and Sestu recognizes him as the same man from Diza Palace. He says he is different from last time, and Yuhi gives Sestu backup. Keiju says the people behind him are weak and asks if it pleases him to protect such weaklings. He answers, they are precious to me, so I protect them. He declares that the world must be destroyed. Sestu replies, I will protect the world, and charges to strike the monster. Another scene shows Kuro blowing away many soldiers as Shiro and Minko join the battle. They greet her, saying they are happy to see her and insisting she's not bad. They tell her she doesn't have to fight, but Kuro just laughs. Kuro attacks them with her weapons, but they easily dodge. Kuro says, if I'm your big sister, then die without resistance. Minko steps forward, saying she will protect Shiro. Kuro rushes at them, but they skillfully evade. Shiro counterattacks but misses. Kuro taunts them calling useless cats, and injures Shiro's face and then target Neko. Then Shiro lands a kick on Kuro and Mintroko follows, slamming her into ground. They think it's over, but black tentacles suddenly rise from the ground, restraining Minko. Kuro rises with extra arms, pushes Shiro to the ground, and snarls, I can't stand this fake sisterhood. Kuro sneers, to kill them, and then pushes her limit to be limitless. Kuro holds one of her arm at Shiro, and she doges it. The arm digs underground and strikes Shiro. Kuro laughs. Sisterhood holds no value. Minko cries, you'll never understand why she calls you big sister. Shiro, unfazed, calls Kuro sister, only you see it as a curse. Kuro strikes with her arms, but Shiro dodges by running and jumping. He then joins Minko, combining their power to break the tentacles. Shiro says, this is our secret power. Kuro taunts, two useless strays mashed together, and Shiro adds, "You don't stand a chance." Kuro gets furious and emerges, even more arms flying to attack. The sisters spin like a whirlwind, blocking and destroying most of the arms. Kuro falls to the ground, unable to fly. Kuru still gets up and says she can't give up, thinking of her siblings, and again strike a attack. The sisters defeat Kuro with a single strike. She lies motionless on the ground as they both return to their original forms. Kuro then starts speaking of her sisters and dies, and Shiro asks Minako to keep moving as the battle isn't over yet. Meanwhile, a man stands alone as a group of soldiers attack him, but their strikes don't even faze him. He pushes the soldiers aside, rips off his clothes to reveal his true form, and kills them all, shouting, "I am Verdos." Roa joins in the fight, punching him, but she is surprised as his face is so tight. Roa says Zudorado sent her to help and tells the soldiers to back off. Verdos calls it rude, but says "You were good." He taunts her, saying, "Is this the best you've got?" And Verdos reveals his body is made of iron. He says he was created by humans through experiments and torture, which gave him his strength, and then Toma rescues him. Roa snaps that Toma is the one trying to destroy the world, and he replies, "The strong get what they want." Verdos mocks her pride, hitting a nerve. Roa charges furiously, but he remains unfazed, and she injures her leg. Roa says she once pitied him for the torture he endured, but now sees his mind is twisted too, and declares she will crush him. She says she'll keep hitting him until he breaks. He mocks her, saying he doesn't need her compassion, and adds he will kill her. He infuses magic, saying he can freely shape his body, then converts himself into small iron balls. Iron balls surrounds Roa, striking her multiple times. Roa falls down, making Verdos think she is defeated. As he starts leaving, Roa gets up again and says, "There is nothing more important than having pride and protecting what's important." Furious, Roa says she'll risk her life for her pride and charges with all her power and run towards him, but he strikes her with iron balls. An iron ball hits her nose, but she endures and punches him. He then remembers a story, how the Beastmen bloodline burned lives and took their enemies with them. He firmed his body, but Roa rains blows on him, her hands bleeding as she strikes relentlessly, determined to break him. He spreads his spokes, but a bleeding Roa shatters them, shocking him. With one final strike, she breaks him completely. Roa roars, Beastman pride at its fiercest, but he still manages to push her back. He stood there, using his magic to heal Roa's injuries. "You're a fool," he said, "but watching you made me do this." He collapses, and she asks why he works for Toma. He answers quietly, "Because no one else would care for a freak like me. You and your pride should live, then I'll carry your pride with me," Roa replies. Meanwhile, we see the man attacking Sestu and uses his shadow spikes on him, confuses Sestu. He vows to finish Sestu, but Sestu strikes back, warning him not to underestimate him and tells him to give up. Sestu says he's tired of playing, and he laughs, declaring he'll give his life in battle and unleash his limit break power. And with that he declares, "This is my true power, Skia Amor." Sestu taunts him, saying, "Secret powers are used only in desperation." He adds, "To defeat you, I'll risk my life." And they strike together, Sestu landing a powerful blow with his sword. But it seems meaningless, as shadow armor absorbs all the energy, and he slams Sestu hard onto the ground. Sestu warns he will slash through the armor. Rising with all his power, he strikes. Sestu summons his flying sword and hit him hard, breaking all his armor. Sestu warns him not to move or he'll die, but he replies that death isn't the issue. Losing would leave him without purpose. He tells Sestu that he was created just to fight, and has no other place to live, and they need to resist this world till last moment. He charges at Sestu with his broken sword, and Sestu looks at him shouting, "Idiot." He strikes, killing him, and says he was able to fight his final battle without resisting, thanking Sestu. "They've all lost," Toma says, and Sestu again came in between my way, saying this. Toma vanishes. Sestu looks at the dead monster and says, "Show yourself, final boss." Livia runs toward Deza's palace and asks if she's okay. She says, "Yes, Evil Barrow is safe," adding, "3 magic powers have vanished. Now the battle will turn in our favor." She's glad Sestu made it in time, when suddenly Toma arrives, greets Livia and says, "No matter how the battle goes, the end will be the same." He slashes his sword, declaring, "This is the beginning of the end," and warns them not to resist, lightning the entire castle. Sestu rushes to Livia and Deza, and Toma jealously remarks at how fast he showed up for them. Toma says he is going to kill them, and as he says this, Sestu strike a attack on him, saying, "I won't let you do that." Sestu says there's no point in talking, and he replies, "After the world ends, we'll have plenty of time." Sestu attacks, but he dodges. Their swords clash, pushing Toma back. He sneers, "Still a brute," forms a flash from his sword and throws it at Sestue, who defends it easily. The blast hits the roof and cracks the sky. Livia can't believe their strength. Sestue tells him to stop playing, and Toma replies, "Let's get real." Toma attacks with his aura. Sestue defends with his flying sword, but Toma strikes him from behind with his sword. Attack injured Sestue and Toma ask him if he has lost his touch. This time, Sestue attacks to disarm Toma, even dropping his own sword. He now punches Toma and start a first hand-to-hand fight, but Toma uses magic and push him. Toma admits he let his guard down and forgot how tricky Sestue is, then says, "Let's up the pace." He transforms his sword into a cannon, saying, "That's the new possibility for my sword," shocking Sestue. Then fires, breaking the mountain. Sestue knows he can't let him fire again, so he runs towards him and lands a powerful kick. But Toma fires his cannon at him, and Sestue dodges as that's the best he can. Toma realizes he can't land a hit. Toma point his cannon and blast as much as he can towards Sestue. Sestue calls for Glutton, his sword, to devour the attack and absorb all of energy from Toma's attack. He punches all the energy back at Toma, who grumbles, "That scary sword of yours is a nuisance." All of Sestue's companions arrive, and he's happy to see them safe. He tells Toma to quit, saying all his friends are dead, and Toma remembers the old times when Sestue was always with his friends. He angrily declares that he's always been left alone by Sestue and unleashes tremendous power. Sestue senses something strange about Toma's power, and Toma declares, "Let's settle this once and for all," by adding he will unleash power even by sacrificing himself, as he uses a limit break, tapping his life force to transform his weapon into a new form. Toma says, "Let's end this and stop despair from spreading any further." Sestue realizes Toma is out of control. Toma laughs, thinking Sestue will run now like a mouse, and strikes him, but Sestue dodges. Other comrades think should they fight but knows they can't do anything about it. Toma strikes at Sestue's companion, but with Glutton's help, he created a barrier to block the attack. Some energy slips past the sword, but they still form a barrier and protect themselves, irritating Toma. Sestue attack him fiercely, but he hide behind his weapon. Sestue attacks back with rapid sword, eventually destroying Toma's weapon, and tell him it's the end for him. Sestue blows him for the final strikes and he falls down, remembering their moment when they first met. He remembers everything one by one in chronology, how he became Tomasan. He remembers the promise Sestue made and refuses to give up, transforming his weapon into a giant cannon once more. He fires the giant cannon at Sestue again, and Sestue tries to shield it. The blast is overwhelming, blowing Sestue away and striking him down. Sestue tries to get up but can't, and Toma approaches, believing he's won. He declares he's defeated Sestue, who was always ahead of him, and insists the world must be destroyed. Sestue stands and replies, "You've really gotten stronger." Sestue tells him you can't defeat me and traps him in a dimensional magic. And Toma wonders how can he use this magic. Sestue says he can use that magic too, that Toma can't use his weapon anymore, and then delivers one final strike. Sestue activates his sills, raising the ground around Toma. He panics, saying he don't want to die, and cries and remembers the promise Sestue made to protect him. Toma ends up shielded in darkness, and realize all he wanted was to be at Sestu's side. Sestue seems sitting beside Toma as he regained consciousness. Toma asks why he's still alive. Sestue replies that killing was never the goal, he let his sword devour the curse, and besides, he promised to protect him. Toma realizes he's done many unforgivable things, and Sestue says he can atone, and that he won't let him die. Toma says he knew he couldn't beat him, and asks if he is Oki, and the other companions comes together happily. Behind the bar, Toma listens as Sestue and the king say they've decided his fate. Sestue tells him to use his powers to send his classmate back to the world. That's his punishment. Other tells him without his magic, he is nothing, so nothing to be worried about. And Sestue asks him to go back with them in that world. They tell Toma it's only because of Sestue they have reached this outcome. Toma cries, amazed he kept even their promise to him. He uses the magic to reopen the portal, and Elka tells the students they can go back. All the students happily goes back. Sestue asks why he didn't go. Toma replies that his true atonement starts now. He'll see the world through his own eyes and find what he can do for it. And then Toma leaves. Sestue leaves too. Elka cries, saying she wanted to go with him, but they refuse. When Yuhi joins Sestue, he warns her it'll be a dangerous trip and asks if she's sure. She says she's decided to always be by his side, and they say goodbye to the others. Sestue meets Livia and asks if the sea is safe. She replies, as long as I'm around, it's safe, until a squid attacks Livia again. Sestue then meets Deza and praises the recovering demonic kingdom. She says, I'm blessed with good officers. adding that Ruri is doing well too, and Deza gave her the best location for shop. For returning her the brooch, Sestue goes to the Beastmen Kingdom, but they still refuse to recognize him. Roa, along with Shiro and Minko, swoops in from above, and they introduce themselves as Commander and Deputy Commander. After checking everything, Sestue and Ruri finally leaves for their trip. That's all for today. If you want the next part, comment next part. We'll make it once this video hits 10,000 likes. Also, tell us which character you like the most in the comments, and thanks for watching. You guys are the best.